What is going on, everybody? Dominic here with another video, and we upgraded, right? We got a little tripod. It was like $30, you know. But I'm gonna try to do videos in different settings, not just my car. You know, kind of move around a little bit. I don't like to just sit and talk the entire time, so I'm gonna try something new with this. Today's probably gonna be a quick one. I'm kind of winging it. I just really wanted to try out this tripod and then hopefully deliver somewhat of a positive message, or at least a message that you'll gain something from. Today's topic is essentially gonna be why you're not farther than you should be. It's gonna be why you're playing the victim. Why are you playing the victim? Stop playing the victim. It's so easy to become great today, and I truly feel like that. Now, am I exactly where I want to be in my life? Absolutely not. Am I a millionaire? Absolutely not. Have I achieved anything or everything that I've wanted to? Absolutely not. But I truly feel like my whole mindset has changed in the last year or 2 years about where I'm going, where I'm going to end up, and how I'm going to get there. And I feel like this video can help out a lot of young men, especially trying to start a business, entrepreneurs, somebody just trying to, do their own thing, right? Because let me give you all a little bit of background, right? So I'm originally from a military family, moved around my entire life. Then I settled down, got my first apartment in Virginia. I lived in Blacksburg, Virginia for a year. Now, at this time, I was heavily smoking weed all the time. Like every day smoking weed. I was an electrician, so I kind of had a decent job lined up, but it really, where the company I was with, I was not putting in the effort that I needed to, right? And people saw that, right? I was just lazy. I would call out of work at least once a month, 2 times a month. I was a nobody, man. I was a nobody. And I always wondered why I was behind. I always asked myself, I could barely make ends meet. I could barely pay my bills. I don't have money to do what I want to do. And I always, I was like, yeah, I could definitely go to work more. But even if I didn't call out those 2 days out of the month, right? I would have made an extra $250, more than I would have had. But it's still not what I was looking for, right? So I was really just smoking weed every day, going out drinking every weekend, not doing anything with my life, right? Now, I moved to Florida. Now, I had a girlfriend at the time in Virginia. We broke up. I moved to Florida. Come to find out, she also lived in Florida, and we got back together. Shocker. I'm not gonna say you can't get back with your ex, but in my experience, it doesn't work out. It was my fault, I'll say that, but it doesn't work out, right? Now, after we broke up, I had a huge awakening, right? This is around the time that I bought a Bible. I started finding God, trying to find God. I was honestly, I had like an Andrew Tate mentality for a while where it's just like, fuck everybody, fuck you, I'm gonna do what I need to do, I'm gonna get rich, right? I'm gonna get rich. It was more so, let me try to get a little bit of light up in here. It was more so like, fuck everybody else, I'm gonna do what I need to do to make money. Now, what I started to realize is that my entire life, I wasn't really sorry, I think I keep seeing something out the corner of my eye. My entire life that I was making money, paying my bills, I was doing the bare minimum, right? I was quite literally just going to work, clocking in, clocking out. Now, you might say, oh, that's all I should have to do. Okay, I get it. That's all you should have to do. We live in different times now where the cost of living is not normal, right? The cost of living is not normal. I live in Sarasota, Florida. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's $1,800 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment, right? You tell me how I would afford $1,800 a month on $20 an hour. You don't. You just don't. Now, fast forward, I'm in Florida. I'm in my Andrew Tate mentality, going to the gym every day, hitting it like crazy. All I care about is leveling up. That's all I care about. I bought Think and Grow Rich, and I don't want to dive too much into that, but Think and Grow Rich genuinely changed my life. So did the Law of Attraction. Actually, I have it right here. The Law of Attraction changed my life. It genuinely did. I won't go into too much detail, but it really just talks about how your thoughts affect your reality. And that's the basic, bare minimum of what those books teach, right? Desire, what you put your energy and your thoughts into and how it transmutes into your reality, right? Now, I always realized that I was thinking in the form of a victim. I always told myself the world was out to get me. I always told myself the world was against me, not for me. Now, already having that mindset, you're already gonna fail, right? Have you noticed how people who speak of poverty live in poverty? People who speak of lack a lot. People who speak of abundance and prosperity have a lot, or they might not physically have a lot, but emotionally, mentally, they are okay. They are okay. There's no issues with. We're just gonna keep following the sun, because I like what's going on here. What you think about transmutes into your reality. So when you're always playing the victim, you wonder why on a day-to-day basis shitty things happen to you. I always wonder that. Now, here's what would happen, right? Let me give you an example. So let's say you go to bed late, right? You already have that thought in your mind that night, oh my God, I'm not gonna get enough sleep. I'm gonna be so tired tomorrow. You go to bed late, you get, let's just say 5 hours sleep. I know, there'll be somebody in the comments saying, oh, I do just fine on 5 hours. I don't care. I do not care. But you tell yourself, I'm only gonna get 5 hours sleep. Tomorrow's gonna suck. I'm gonna have a horrible day. I'm gonna be so tired. Guess what happens? You go to sleep, you wake up, and most of the time when I used to do that, I would wake up even later than what I normally would. So then, not only did I feel like I not got enough sleep, I'm running late. So then I can't eat breakfast. That's another bad thing. So you wake up late. Holy crap, the first thought you have is, holy shit, I'm late. It's gonna be a bad day. I can't even eat my breakfast, where you're rushing. You hate feeling rushed more. Now you're in your car, speeding to the job site. Now this is me speaking personally from when I was an electrician on new construction, and speeding to the job site, literally about to text my boss like, hey, I'm running a couple minutes late, I'll be there. And then you're already worried what he's gonna say, because it's the second time you've been late this month. Now the day's even shittier. Now you get there, okay, your boss is fine, great, he doesn't really care. Now what happens? An hour later, you're doing your job, you're working, you didn't have time to drink your coffee or get that energy drink. Now the hunger is catching up to you. Oh my God, now you're tired, hungry, and fatigued, and the day is just apparently ruined, like, oh, it's been a shit day, and you keep thinking that, and you keep thinking that, and now the day's dragging on. And now every little mundane task that you do at work is like the hardest thing ever. Like you hate it, right? You just hate it. Like I promise you, the way that you program yourself for a better day is not by living in a fearful state. Let me say that. Don't be worried that you're not gonna get enough sleep tomorrow. You're gonna live. Yeah, you're gonna be okay, right? You're gonna be just fine. You have to understand that bad shit is going to happen, but if you truly let that get to you, it's a snowball effect. One bad decision, okay, you could either think in the form of, oh my God, this sucks. This really sucks. I mean, what am I ever gonna do? And then guess what? Another one happens, and another one happens, and another one happens. Or when that bad thing hits you, let's say, we'll use the same example. I'm going to bed kind of late tonight. You know what? It's okay. It's okay, because guess what? Tomorrow, it's an 8-hour workday, no big deal, right? I'm gonna get up. As long as I wake up on time, I'm gonna eat my breakfast. Maybe I'll have an extra cup of coffee, You'll survive. It's not the biggest deal in the world. You could let that one L determine the rest of your day, or you could just scoot that shit under the rug, because it doesn't necessarily matter. It really doesn't. Like, so many people talk about this thing has to line up, and this thing has to line up, and this thing has to line up for it to be perfect, for the day to be good. Like, oh, I need to get up on time and at this exact time, and then I have my hot water needs to be this hot. And no, you can't control absolutely everything. What does matter is when life throws you a little bit of a curveball, how you respond to it. Are you gonna respond like a victim? Or are you gonna respond as someone that realizes shit happens, right? Now the victim mentality is, of course it would happen to me. All bad shit happens to me. Yeah, keep thinking that. Keep thinking that. Keep going to bullshit ass 9 to 5 job that you hate every day because you tell yourself you hate it. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that you probably won't dislike this job a little bit, but when you tell yourself how much you hate your job to everybody and to your friends and to your family and how mundane it is and how boring it is, your mind is just reconfirming that when you are there. That is what your subconscious mind does. When you have these thoughts and you tie emotions to it, like your job, and you say you hate it and you physically hate it, or you feel like you hate it in your heart, the moment you get there, your subconscious mind is reaffirming what you're saying, essentially. So that night before, God, I do not want to go to work tomorrow. It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna suck so much. You get to work, guess what? Your subconscious mind remembers what you said the night before. Even if you're not actively thinking about it, you think, I'm at work. So what does that mean? That thought you had the other day ties to it, and that fear response kicks in. When I say fear, I don't mean genuinely scared or your timbers are shivered, right? I mean, you just tied that emotion with that thought, and now you're at work and you hate your life because you said, this shit sucks. This shit sucks. Now, there are two things you can do in this situation. Now, let's say you genuinely have the worst job in the world. Now, a lot of people, like you got motherfuckers who are on oil rigs. I don't want to do that shit. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't want to do that shit. Some people like it, cool, but that's a shit job. Somebody who works in sewage, they might get paid a lot of money. That's literally a shit job. Now, you have two sides of the spectrum here, right? You can be okay with being uncomfortable with this job, and that's not a bad way to go. Or you could fix it. What is the point of worrying about something that much if you are able to fix it? You're sitting here complaining about everything wrong in your life when you could fix that shit. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say you're just gonna go buy a scratch-off ticket and you have 30 bands in the bank account right now. No, shit's gonna be hard. But every successful person I've ever met, talked to, heard from, watched on YouTube, or what you would consider successful, right? What I would consider successful, knows that when you fail, that's okay. That's how you know you're doing something right. Now, if you're just sitting there loathing in your own self-guilt, wondering why you haven't done anything with your life, oh, I'll start tomorrow. No, you won't. You're not gonna go nowhere. You keep complaining. You are stuck in this fucking bubble. You are stuck in this bubble that you cannot get out of. You can get out of it, but you act like you can't because you're just sitting there gently poking it and wondering why nothing's changing. Now, this is gonna be the most impactful part of this video, right? This one line. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You can take that at face value, but if you do not change, your circumstances do not change. You have to change the way you think, and that ties into everything that I was talking about. Stop playing the victim. Stop acting like the world is against you when you live in that fearful state the entire time. There is no room for growth. You are the same person you were the last 2 weeks, and the last 2 months, and the last 2 years. You are reliving your past. Even though you're in a different circumstance, you're reliving your past. That same thought process you have living in fear 90% of the time is gonna get you absolutely fucking nowhere, okay? And no, I don't feel sorry for you. There are a lot of people that I know that were dealt a very shit hand in life. Thankfully, I have 2 loving parents, you know, I have a good family. Now, I don't come from a lot of wealth, you know. My parents did everything they could to make sure I had a great life, and they did do that. But I want more, right? So don't sit here and tell me that oh, you know, it's mommy and daddy's money, that's why you're so comfortable. I've been 3 months, 4 months behind on rent before, negative $1,000 in my bank account, fucking like $6,000 in credit card debt. Maybe not 6,000, it's like 4,000, but still, right? Fearful as fuck. And if you're in that mindset the entire time that, oh my God, like I'm behind, I keep falling behind, and then you're just sitting there not doing anything about it, why the fuck are you complaining? Like, you did that shit. Like, every little decision you made in life has led you to this moment. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, you know, you haven't had a little bit of bad luck here and there. Now, I truly don't believe in bad luck, but we'll just say it for the sake of this video, right? Every thought that you have is essentially one more step towards your future, whether it's good or bad. So you could sit here and start thinking the same way. You know, oh, I'm barely making it, I'm barely scraping by, you know, my job sucks, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's cool. Or just start by doing something different. Break the pattern. Go to sleep, tell yourself it's gonna be an amazing day tomorrow. You're gonna wake up feeling energized. And you're gonna be lying to yourself for a little bit. That's what it'll feel like. You're lying to yourself. You're not telling the truth. But I promise you, the moment that you start creating new neural pathways in your brain and you start tying it with emotions, meaning you're not thinking that same old past, the same thoughts you've had in the past, and you create new neural networks that start creating new thoughts, the universe will follow, right? The more you think about prosperity and abundance, the more prosperous and abundant you will be. The world just puts it in front of you in ways you would have never imagined. And I truly mean that. And I truly mean that, guys. You just have to understand it all starts with your mindset. Everything internal creates the external. And that's how it should be, right? You can fix so much in your life by just thinking differently. By just thinking differently. Talking differently. Walking differently. I mean, there's so much more to this physical world. It's all spiritual, right? I know that's kind of all over the place. You know, I want to try out this tripod, but that was kind of it for this video. Just keep in mind, guys, positive mind, positive life. Negative mind, negative life. Think in abundance, not of lack. Think in prosperity, not of fear. Okay? Stay strong, y'all. Stay blessed. And love every single one of y'all. Thank you guys for the comments. I think I'm at like 75 subs now, so I'm lit. I'm so lit. Like, everybody that comments says I offered a little bit of helpful advice. I appreciate that. And we're in this shit together, man. Let's just keep it going.